Hmm. Yo, what is up? Welcome to today's stream for OPS. Yeah, let me introduce myself. I'm Tenzin. Had releases on upcoming records, Party Racer recordings, Offensive Rage, also Karma Contra. Now I'm releasing on Phased Records, where I'm currently also the A&R. Which means I'll check the demos for quality and see if they fit the label. Yeah, next week I'm gonna drop a collab together with Prosper, and yeah, today I'm gonna take you through the project. So without further ado, I thought let's listen to the project first. Bit of a premiere because you're the first ones to actually hear the project full. But yeah, let's first listen to it and then let's get into it.
You still give me a rush in my head, filling up my thoughts with regrets. Will I ever let you go? Will I ever let you go? We own the night, we take control. Anyway, we wanna go. You can't stop us, can't stop us, can't stop us. We own the night, we take control. Anyway, we wanna go. best, will I ever let you go? 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 You still give me a rush in my head, filling up my thoughts with regrets. Will I ever let you go? Will I ever let you go? You still give me a rush in my head, filling up my thoughts with regrets. Will I ever let you go? Will I ever let you go?
So, okay, that's the track. A lot of you see sounds unfinished. This is just the mix down. We fixed the master and everything in another project, so that's why it lags a bit. But yeah, let's get into it. I thought let's starting from the intro.
You still give me a rush.
So basically, this is just the vocal with some instruments underneath. The vocal processing was done in two separate projects. So this is already a processed vocal, which we did in a previous project. As you can see, everything is also waved. So yeah, we did the processing, the MIDIs, everything in a different project, then rendered it to even mix it more. This is the finalized vocal. Basically, what we did was just send it to a reverb bus, send it to a vocal bus, compress it even more with some compression to get the reverb and the vocal to get on top of each other. Reverb is also sidechained, but with the compression, it sounds like a whole. That's basically what we did with the vocal. So I'm probably not gonna get into the vocal that much because it's just the vocal that plays in the track. Then I think the instruments are probably the more important elements. So what we have here, we have a pad that's kind of filtered in. As you can hear, it's just basically a low pass that kind of introduces the sound. All of these instruments basically come from the melody, come from the progression. The melody itself was, let's first, by the way, get into that so we can then focus on the other elements. How I create my melodies, first we start with a chord progression, so just very basic stuff. Just a basic chord progression. Then I write a top melody, top lead on top. Okay, and then what I do is I get the chords to fit to the top melody. So I change some notes regarding to the top lead to make it match more and have it sound more as a whole. So yeah, then you get this. Pretty nice, to be honest. In my opinion, the instruments should be following the chord progression. teasing the melody so the melody doesn't sound unexpected or it just comes out of nowhere. That doesn't really make sense. So that's why, yeah, the pad, for instance, it follows the chord progression. The bells follow the top lead. The strings also follow the chord progression. So yeah, a lot of elements do follow that same pattern, but that just creates the emotion that you want for a track. In my opinion, the chord progression, that's the thing that gives the emotion. The top lead is just there for the vibe, and yeah, if you want your elements to sound as a whole and you want your track to sound as a whole glued together, your elements have to follow that part. So for the instruments, basically what we did, we filtered them in the first 8 bars, so that's not really that special, to be honest. Then after 8 bars, this is the full instrument part. So we have a choir, bells, pad, string. I think this future rave, kind of style lead is pretty cool. Follows the top lead. So as I said before, the melody doesn't come in unexpected. Then also the bass. Where is it? Right here. So the Reese bass is also filtered in. So as you can see here, it lacks a bit of highs, and then over here, it's a bit fuller. What we did after the 8 bars to make the cool transition with the bass is do pitching effect. This pitching effect is, I think, pretty cool. So I think it's a cool way to end a part. So you have an intro, and then the bass glides down, pitch shifting, filter shifting, everything that you automate makes movement in the track, makes the elements move, not makes them static, and just creates the flow throughout the track. I think these kind of pitch movements, as I said before, the filtering in of those elements, they make it less static. They make every element introduced in a proper way, and I think that's a pretty cool thing to introduce certain elements into the track. Then after 8 bars, we get the melody that's filtering in. We basically already rendered the top leads because we just used the shit ton, and then the chords and the top leads create this effect. So it gets filtered in, it gets swept in. You just hear it slightly in the background, but just makes it less unexpected. I see a question: what kind of plugins do you think are essential for making hardstyle? In this project, we mostly use Silent, Serum. Vital, I think, is actually a bit underrated. It's a free plugin that's kind of like Serum, but it has some really cool sounds. I also like to use just the basic FL Studio, so the Flex. That's really good. Also, it has some nice sounds in there. That's just for the instruments. Kicks, we'll get to that later. Then we have the melody. I like to get a back verb in to create, sweep in the melody, which sounds like this. Basically what you do is you just render the reverb of the first hit, reverse it, and then, you cut it exactly onto the point that you want, where the melody starts. So that's right there. So it sweeps in the melody. I think it's pretty nice. And then the melody itself. So what we did was, I like to create a different type of bass for the melody, because I think the Reese bass itself, it's cool, it's a cool bass, but in my opinion, the melody bass needs to hit harder. It needs to be more full, and it needs to be a real slap in your face. So I like to use a very distorted bass that mostly uses 8 voices. And yeah, it's just big. Like it sounds like this. Just a massive bass underneath the melody. Without it, it would sound completely empty. So I think, yeah, the melody underneath the bass, it just needs to work together. If your bass and melody don't really work together, your melody will probably lack a bit. Of course, the pitch bends are also very important to create emotion in your top leads, create a vibe. If you don't have the pitch bends, yeah, your melody will sound pretty static and yeah, won't have that much emotion. Of course, also some instruments underneath, as the choir. I really like to put in every project I do. I like to put a choir there, just because it just gives that extra bit of vibe to it. You kind of hear it in the background, but it just adds so much. Yeah, so then we get to the build up. The build up is actually pretty, yeah, just a normal build up. We actually kind of looped the vocal in a cool way. So as you can see here, yeah, it's not really the basic looping how you normally do it. So basically what we did was, as you can see here, there's a pretty, yeah, automation of the panning going on. And what it did was, basically as the build progresses, the vocal gets panned from left to right, which creates this cool effect. And then, as you can see by the slope of this, it slowly gets mono again because this is the amount of the panning. So I'll show you the vocal. If you have, yeah, if you have headphones, you'll probably hear it going from left to right.
We wanna go.
So yeah, the effect, how you get that looping effect, I'll get to that later. It's a granulizer. I also, as you could have heard in the second build-up, we there loop the kicks. After I've gone through that part, I'll show you how to do it in the granulizer, because I think it's a pretty cool way to, yeah, keep your tracks interesting. The thing is though, this looping from left to, or this panning from left to right really creates more depth in your track, more depth in the build-up, and yeah, all of a sudden your build-up has to come and has to go from stereo to mono, and then when the drop hits, you want that mono to open up again, so the whole drop sounds big again. So it's all about contrast in music, and you want it to go down, go mono, and open up again. So that's why we did this panning effect, to open it up, make it small, and then, you know, the drop hits and it's opened up again. We also automated delay, just to make it more clean. I think, yeah, automating wet levels of reverb and delay is pretty cool to, yeah, just kind of slowly decreasing the reverb, because if your reverb and your kicks will play at the same time, yeah, it's gonna clash, it's gonna sound muddy, and yeah, that's not really what you want. Okay, so yeah, I've also had a lot of transitional effects. Of course, you have a sweep and a riser, but yeah, to be honest, I'm not really gonna get into that stuff because it's not that big of a deal. I think everyone can get transitional effects. That's not really that special. So of course we have just the snare going up. It's just basically a build-up. That's pretty generic. It's not that special, to be honest. What's kind of cool is what we did. We added some kick effects. With some endless smile. So yeah, as I said, it's purely waves, but we did an endless smile automation on here, making it more fade out and washed out towards the end. Because yeah, a kick, a punch, it will hit. And yeah, as I said before, it's all about contrast. So you want that to be washed out at the end, and then your drop will hit extra hard. So yeah, pretty much after this build up, there's a fake drop with a melody. So basically, the melody is playing, and we looped it on the first hit. So I pitched it down already, and I think it's not here, is it? I don't know. We actually also pitched it up, but I think that was done in the other project because yeah, it's pitching up, but you can't hear it because, or you don't see the automation at least. So we decided to loop it on the first hit, and then just before the build-up, we decided to cut it to really small chops. Um, if you make the chops just like 1 beat long, it'll sound pretty static, and we wanted to really emphasize the transition towards the drop, so really people know, oh shit, something is coming. So yeah, we have the fake mellow drop there, and then we have some kick effects underneath. So basically, this is the first kick, but it has some stereo delay on it, which is this knob right here. And the first kick, second kick are both panned left and right. Of course, don't forget to add an Pro Q3 like this. Wait, no, not like that. No, like this. Like this for your stereo. Because if you pan kicks to the left and the right, you still want the low end to be mono because, yeah, to be honest, low end in stereo sounds horrible. So please don't do that. Keep your low end mono. So yeah, the kick effects on itself sounds like this. And then right until the end, around here, we decided to pitch it up just to make the transition towards drop so everyone knows, shit, something is coming. Together, they sound like this. I think together with the choppy rhythm of the melody, I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, then of course you gotta cut it off because the drop is coming and you want the drop to really hit hard, hit clean on the first hit. So yeah, then let's get into the drop part. So for the drop, we have some cool kicks. I actually do a lot of the kicks myself. Actually, I do all my kicks myself, but to be honest, for this part, for this live stream, I didn't want to show the kick projects because, yeah, I'm a new producer. I kind of have, started creating my own style of kicks, and yeah, it doesn't really make sense to already share that. But after I went through the whole track, I did yesterday have a separate project where I took OPS samples from their sample pack, created a new kick, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did, what I changed, how I created that kick. So yeah, stay until the end, and I'm going to show you that project of the kick. For now, I'm just going to show you the drop and show you what other elements are in there. So yeah, we have some basic kick rolls. I think, in my opinion, the top leads on top really add something special. We decided to take a few of the notes from the melody itself and just create a sort of counter, a sort of extra rhythm that you just slightly hear in the background. I think that adds actually a lot if you listen to it. Yeah, you just hear it in the background, and it adds so much more depth to the track. Let's see. I think the most cool thing about this drop are the screeches. To be honest, I haven't done the screeches in this project. I normally do the screeches myself, but yeah, this is all Felix's part, all Crossfair. Yeah, props to that guy. The screeches are fucking amazing in this project. So yeah, it's to be honest, he delivered a really great job. I actually didn't do anything about it because he also rendered the reverb and delay. So yeah, I can't really say anything about the screeches. I just think Prosper, yeah, he did an amazing job on the screeches, to be honest. I see someone saying using a volume automation before your drop. Yeah, we do, but we do that on the master. So we do have some endless smile here. And yeah, we do cut out the reverb, and yeah, of course we have a gain for the kick effects to make that kind of going out. Um, yeah, so we do a volume automation, but we do it in the mastering process. Because yeah, you can just render it, master it, and then you can do the volume dip right before the drop. Your drop a little harder, and yeah, I always do it in the mastering process. I like to use an endless smile on the instruments and stuff to wash them out, but yeah, the volume automation is done in the mastering process. Underneath the drop, I also use a crowd sample. It's a bit in the background, but to be honest, this adds a bit of hype to it. So yeah, when you play it live over the big speakers, it'll sound slightly in the background, which kind of hypes people up because you still hear the crowd and you hear someone screaming, you know. So yeah, that just adds a lot. I actually use this sample in all my tracks, to be honest. In every drop, I add a crowd sample because, yeah, I don't know, it just adds a lot. Um, so yeah, that's basically the drop part, I guess. We did add some crashes, hi hats after the first 4 bars, just to yeah give some extra rhythm, extra drive to the track. There is a bit of a wait, yeah. So the kick hits here, then there's a bit of a silent part. So we decided to not use the rhythmic elements right there. So yeah, I always when you have an empty kick, which you really want like to hit like this, you want a little pause. So and you want to continue. Just keep it empty. You could use a snare. I think we did, yeah, on the half beat to give extra drive. But then, yeah, the rhythmic elements itself come in after that part. So you keep your drop clean. Let's see. We also added some extra bass. This is actually a trick I learned from the Headhunter stream. Not gonna lie, the Headhunter stream is yeah, it's so good. That guy is a legend, and what he did to the scene was amazing. I actually learned a lot from it. So basically, it's the melody bass. You put a high pass filter over it, a kickstart, and it gives some extra high end, extra high crunch to it. So yeah, you just hear it in background, but together with the kicks, it just adds a lot more high end and a bit of stereo because you cut out the lows. So it doesn't matter if it's mono or stereo. So that gives a bit more stereo to your kicks as well. Then we have the kick reverb, very important, to be honest. I'm a reverb slut if it comes to using reverb in your kicks. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much the drop. Of course, the automation for the reverb there, but I already talked about that. Then in the middle, we have yeah, kick effects again. So just that. Then we decided to put in the mellow, but just the first hit, because as you can see here, the melody starts before the bar. So we have kind of an introductional part, and we decided we wanted that right in the middle. Cut it out again with the reverb, so it hits clean. And yeah, it's kind of like an sort of okay, let's go. Here's the mellow, and then boom, another kick comes in. So then the other kick comes in. This is a gated kick. We decided to use a kit of different kicks in this project. So yeah, the first one is a distorted kick. This one is gated. This one is from Prosper, I think he did this one. And then we decided to do some switches. So over here, we decided to switch it up a bit and bring in the previous kick just for various changes, rhythmic changes, and to keep it interesting. And then right at the end, we bring back the distorted kick, bring back the gated kick. Okay, I think that's pretty much the drop. Then comes the interesting part of the kick build-up loop. So, yeah. You might, I don't know, a lot of you probably don't know, but I have also this other track, Save Me. I use the same kind of effect there and drop. I think the looping effect, where it gets shorter and shorter and shorter, sort of what you do on the CDJ when you're playing live. Yeah, it's a pretty cool effect. It's just something different than a generic build-up where it just builds up. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool effect to keep it interesting. So I'm gonna show you, as I said before, how to do this. So I already prepared this part right here. The plugin you're gonna need for this is, let's see, the Fruity Granulizer, this one. You can use it in FL. I know Ableton or any other DAW, it also has this feature. I just don't know the name of it, but you just gotta look it up. It's just a granulizer effect. This is what it's called for FL, so I already prepared it. This is the kick we used in the drop. Actually, we used half, so yeah, this looping effect is going to be different, but fuck it. So basically, what this does, you load in your kick, then you press loop, and once you press play, it just loops. The interesting part comes from when you use the wave spacing, the grain spacing, and the attack. So let's create an automation for all of those things. So the wave spacing, you want this to become shorter. So you want this to go up. What this does is, let's have a listen. Already makes it like loop faster and faster and faster. Then you have the grain spacing. This one, I don't know actually the exact mechanics behind this plugin. I just know what it does, and I know that if you bring it up, it will loop longer. If you bring it down, it'll loop shorter. So let's bring this down and see again what it does. So it loops it again a bit faster. And then also the attack, you can bring that up to make the end more, or bring it down, I don't know. We did it like this, yeah, so like this. And then you put an endless smile on that, and it just goes up. This is basically how you do the looping effect. You just fuck around with these automations, with the slopes of it, and yeah, that's basically it. Oh, I see you can't see the plugin. Wait. I don't know why. It's just showing the screen. I'm sorry. I have the plugin right there. Just use the Fruity Granulizer and do the wave spacing, grain spacing, and the attack. This is the wave spacing. Bring that up. This is the grain spacing. Bring that down. And the attack, you can just, sort of taste more of what you do with it. Okay, so basically, this is how you do that effect. We did it with, as you can see here, we already started, I forgot, with half a beat of kick. So you already have the effect faster, and we sort of looped it towards the end. That's basically how you do this. This is just a rough sketch. I mean, when I'm working on a project, I would, find the perfect amount to have it loop perfectly. But yeah, right now this is just for educational purposes and showing what I did and how you can achieve this. So then we rendered it, and it turned out as this. And as you can hear, there's a bit of endless smile towards the end, with a bit of a reverb tail there. But the reverb tail stops when the fake Zaag comes in. And then there's also an effector. So with bit crushing effect towards the end to make it sound a bit raw, as you can hear here. It kind of lowers the bit rate, which makes your sound a bit more, like video game like. It has less bit rate, so it sounds more rawish in my opinion. So to have it go from a clean kick to the endless smile with the bit crushing, then you have the full transition. And then we also did the gain because, as you can see here, it got louder. And I like my build-ups that they get a bit softer towards the end. So I think we also did a snare underneath. Yeah, just the basic snare build-up. That is following the generic snare rhythm. So that's just underneath a sweep. And that's basically the whole build-up. Then comes the fake zaag part. So personally, I'm not that big of a fan, but hey, we wanted to have a track because there's such a hype on Zaag these days, where basically we thought, fuck it, let's use it as fake drop, because people are gonna expect it, and to be honest, when I play this live, the fake Zaag, I noticed every time I play it, people react to the Zaag and they're like, what fuck's going on? And then the real drop comes in and they're, even going harder because they're like, holy shit, this stuff is amazing. And I love to see that crowd response. So, I really love the end result that we did. How long have you been producing for? I've been producing for 4.5 years around. I started in November 2019. So actually not that long, but I'm a pretty quick learner, if I can say that. I don't know, I don't like to brag or anything, but I now do it for 4.5 years. I know a lot of guys have been doing it for 10 years also, and everyone has their own journey, to be honest, man. Some learn it in 1.5. It just doesn't matter if you just watch tutorials like this or do a lot of research on your sounds and stuff. Try out a little different stuff. You'll get results pretty quickly, and just invest time. In my opinion, anyone can learn production. It basically comes down to determination and to keeping it up and not quitting. Because then you'll see results, and once you see results, you want to go even further and you want to learn even more, and it just motivates you again and again and again. Basically, that's my journey. So back to the production. We have the fake zaag drop. As I said, it hits nicely, and then the real kick comes in, which just basically we did use the zaag, because we use it as a tail. So the tail in the kick itself, the first part at least, is a zaag, but we mixed it up and created a sort of distorted kick from it. So we just used a different punch. I think it's also the punch from the very first kick we used right here. So it's the same punch, different tail. We added some more reverb underneath, and then you have this kick. I think that sounds pretty cool in comparison to the zaag. It creates this little shock effect, which I kind of like. Then we decided after 4 bars to switch it up. We kind of cut the tail a bit, where you get this effect. Just not playing the tail fully, but cutting it into pieces to create this sort of transition. Because we used a different kick here. This is actually the original kick, but with a reversed kind of bass. As you can see, it's on the half, it's more distorted, and then it has this small piece underneath, kind of like a reverse bass. And we just decided to switch it up. I think those parts over there really help in the transition, as you can hear. I think that adds so much. If you would just play the tail like straight, it just sounds more generic. Now it sounds way interesting, and the transition is way more clean, in my opinion. Then we have the other kick coming in, and I think it's just the same screeches, maybe a different rhythm. As I said before, Prosper has done the screeches, so big props to him. He's done an amazing job on those. Again, the crowd underneath to give that extra hype feeling. And yeah, some rhythmic effects. So the head, a crash. Basically, that's it. I like to always get the crash to follow the kick rolls whenever you play the crash. So I like to place the crash on every 4 bars. It depends. Sometimes I do in a drop, I do it every 2 bars, but then it fits more. In this one, we did every 4 bars, but we have some kick rolls at the first part. So I don't like to just place the crash, generic on top like this. So we want to follow the kick rolls, and then, yeah, you get this effect, which follows the kick rolls, and yeah, it makes the connection with the kick a lot better. The elements work together, and that, yeah, sounds nice in my opinion. We of course do have a bit of extra bass. I don't know why it didn't render. This project has been so big. We used what was it, 126 stems or something. So yeah, stuff like this it misses in the drop. But yeah, to be honest, you don't really hear it, so it's fine, I guess. So yeah, then after the drop, we have the ending. So we like to end with a kick roll. So yeah, the cool thing we did here, we added some delay on the kick. But yeah, as you can see, it's only going up here. So if you can find the kick, it's this one. What we did was we automated the input. So this basically controls what comes into the reverb or into the delay. And yeah, if you have it down, nothing will come into the delay, and the delay won't happen. So you won't have the delay effect. But if you have it up, as I did here, it will delay the whole thing that's playing at the time. So we only wanted that on the last kick. Everything else we want clean. And then, yeah, it's just a nice fade out to transition into the next part. Let's see. Okay, so then we get into the break. Focus starts playing again. We actually didn't have the bass underneath because we wanted to be a bit more empty sounding. Just the ARP is playing with the sustained notes, just to, yeah, have it a bit more harmonics in there. And then after 4 bars, we decided to bring in all the elements. So the bass comes in, the other elements comes in, and I think this is probably the most cool effect in our breaks. So we decided to do a plucky kind of style, sort of UK, what's it called, like the UK garage kind of style. I don't know if I'm right. Don't hate me, please, for messing that up. But yeah, this is basically, it follows, I think, the bass, but in a different way, because we have some extra notes here that sort of make the transition towards the different notes a lot better. So we have some notes in between where, yeah, so it goes up and it goes down, and yeah, I think it just adds so much depth to this break. If you would play it without, then it would sound way more empty. So yeah, and then you really hear it in the background. It's just, it adds so much more depth, even if it's like a bit of ear candy. But yeah, those kind of details are probably the most important things. Yeah, in music, because those kind of details really make the track whole, and really add that extra bit of depth. Then we basically did a sort of, it says house drum loop, but I think it's, yeah, we basically just, I think we did it in another project, rendered it, or we used a loop. I have no idea. As I said before, we did a shit ton in a different project because, yeah, it was starting to get too messy. Then I switched it over to this project, rendered out all the waves, and that's why, yeah, right now I'm just showing you the waves. So yeah, this adds some drive to the track. It just makes it flow better. Yeah, then we get into the melody again. This time we decided to not just play the melody as generic as the first part, so it doesn't feel as repetitive. And basically we added a drum and bass loop underneath. like a breakbeat underneath, which, yeah, in my opinion, it sounds very cool. We actually used this is a sidechain trigger, so this doesn't play anything. As you can hear, it's not outputting any sound because it's not linked. Oh, wait. It's not linked to the output master. It's just linked to the melody and I think to the melody base. Just as a sidechain trigger. So every time the kick from this drum loop hits, yeah, the bass gets pulled down and the kick has more impact. So yeah, basically drums make the lead sound less generic, and yeah, just switch it up a bit, makes it sound different than the first part, so it keeps it interesting. Then we decided to do a sort of looping effect on the second build-up. So the cool thing about this is the first two bars are just looped directly. So we have the last two beats, two beats that are being looped. So we just looped them in the first part. Then in the second part, same as what we did with the fake build-up right here. We chopped it up, makes it sound more rhythmic, and yeah, just it doesn't sound as static as just looping it and looping it and looping it. So we did that. And then even more on the second part. So as you can see, this is for like 1/4 of a beat. And yeah, we decided to just add those together and really create even more rhythm. And then it just plays the last note just for the last part. So it just stays on one note. We also did the bit crush effect. We did do it in this project I see now. So let me show you what it does. It's the effector. The effector is basically a free plugin from Valve. Really good, really useful. If you want some bit crush effect, it's really cool. Basically, you automate these two knobs, so the X parameter and the Y parameter, which basically control how this point goes across this part. So basically what it does is, as you can see, it goes up. We didn't go all the way because if you go all the way, it sounds way too bit crushed, and we want to keep it a little bit more clean, not to have the full bit crushed effect. If you do that, it will sound like this. So yeah, we decided to keep it a bit more clean, keep it in that area. Then we cut out all the delay and the reverb. The reverb already when the 8th bar was hitting from the build-up. But the delay we decided, because this is like it's an empty part where it just boom, it hits and a different part is gonna play. Because after this we do have the bass pre-drop effect. So we wanted, because we felt if the melody plays on top of the bass pre-drop, like the lead effect, it sounds it's gonna clash and it sounded too muddy. We wanted it more clean. So we decided to cut out the delay exactly when the bass drop was gonna play. In this part, it sounds cool because it's fading out the empty part, as you can hear, and then it just stops right there because we wanted full attention to the pre-drop bass effect, which is this. Basically didn't do anything in the drop with it. It was just to have a bit of an effect before the drop. I think it's actually what we did. I think if I remember correctly, it was a few months ago that we made this project, but I think we used one of the top leads, put it down like 1 or 2 octaves, and then you get this bassy effect. So it kind of sounds the same as the top lead, but in a bassy way. You can pretty much take any top lead, pitch it down, and you get a bass effect. And we got this effect, and I think it works. The first part is clean, then we get the snares in, and the cool tom before the drop. just add so much more depth. It's small details, but yeah, they really make the track flow as a whole. Um, yeah, then another kick comes in. We actually did again the top lead thing. So just to keep it the same kind of vibe, same kind of style as the first drop. So yeah, the top lead again plays over the kick with the screeches. Yeah, making it the same vibe, but yeah, in a different way because there's a different kick. We use different rhythmic elements. The screech, I think, plays a bit of a different rhythm. So yeah, it's the same sounding, but in a different way, which keeps it interesting for the listener. So for the first kick, we decided to use a bit of a bassy reverse bass. Yeah, just straight up a bass. This is actually not that hard to do. It's actually keeping your punch very clean, making it till matching it together, and you basically have this style of kick. And then we used another kick. I actually used a punch of another track of mine, Awake. I liked that kick, the punch we did. I liked it a lot. So yeah, I thought, why not just use it again? Rendered some reverb of that punch. Reverb is very important in kicks. Please never forget reverb in kicks because it just makes your kick flow a shit ton better. So basically, I think we took the tail of the first kick. Wait, where is it? Yeah, so the tail of the first kick again to make it sound similar, but in a different way. So it has the same vibe, but it sounds different. Still, the listener is not gonna recognize this. Still, the listener is gonna be like, "Oh, it's a new kick. It's the same style of kick, but done in a different way to keep it interesting." And yeah, I mean, if you're gonna use 7 different kicks in a track, people are gonna get confused because everything will sound different. It's cool. It's cool. It can be cool in some certain tracks, but most of the time it will sound too chaotic, and you kind of want the same vibe. So yeah, we just used the same till, and then I used even a different punch on the second part. But I already rendered this. I think it was one of the kicks. I don't know. I have so many kicks in this folder. I have no idea which one it was. But yeah, I already rendered that out and just used that one. So yeah, that's basically this part. We kind of also in the half part, we made the punch come in. Just to introduce it a bit more. Yeah, introduces the punch, introduces the kick that's coming up, and yeah, showing what's about to happen. Yeah, then we decided to play the bassy part for one last time. We also played it on the half, but yeah, the bassy part was basically just pre-drop and yeah, filling up the empty parts. But yeah, makes it sound as a whole because you used it previously, so this is pretty much the ending of the drop. So then you also want that element to come back again and yeah, do its closure. So you can transition clean into the next part, which again is the break. Again, the vocal comes in. Then we decided after 8 bars, we straight up want the melody to come in. The thing was though, because yeah, we already played the melody twice. We played it here, we played it here. We felt if we're gonna play the melody again for the whole time, I mean, right now, as you can see, we're already at like around 3 minutes minus the mix intro. So yeah, that's insane if you're gonna play the melody again because yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So we only played it for 4 bars, and then we decided to loop it and get into the build up. We did a filter over it and pitch it up. Vocals from Splice. I think so. I don't know. I think Prosper actually came with his vocal, so I'm not quite sure. But I think it's from Splice. Actually, in my newest tracks I'm creating right now, I've actually stepped away from Splice. It's also an interesting topic in my opinion because yeah, I think splice vocals. I was sick of you're creating this track, you're putting a shit ton of effort into it, and then you're oh yeah, I'm done with it. I'm gonna put it out, and then you put it out, and like five other producers are gonna release like a track within the same week with the same vocal. You'll hear it at festivals. I mean, yeah, I got kind of got sick of it, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna step away from Splice for a bit. I use it for some drum elements and stuff. It's still a very good application to get some stems from. Just don't overdo it, because yeah, a lot of the time you'll hear your track in like 50 other tracks, and yeah, it's or your vocal in 50 other tracks, but it's yeah, I know. I stepped away from it. But yeah, now we have the melody drop. Basically, it plays the melody, some kickstart over it, and I also think we did an elevation on Pro Q3. This one. Oh, yeah, just cutting some bass. We felt it clashed with the kick a bit. So in the breaks, it's fine because then, yeah, your melody and your melody bass will work together. In the drop, we wanted the kick to hit a bit more clean, have a bit more room to hit even harder. So we just did a small low pass. I don't normally do this in project. It was just for this one. Of course, cutting out the reverb, pre-drop, and bringing in the sweep again, as I said before. This is very important. Kick comes in. Basically, yeah, in the melody drop, you want your kick to, at least your tail, you want this to follow the chord progression. So this one, you want it to play these notes. So if you play these notes, then you're fine. It will follow the melody. It will not clash. It will sound perfect together. So we did that here. Pretty generic stuff. This is basically how you every time do like a melody drop. So yeah, melody drop comes in, crashes. As I said before, sometimes I do 2, sometimes I do 4. But yeah, that's pretty generic, speaks for itself, to be honest. Then you have the crowd again. And yeah, that's basically the whole track. I don't know if I missed anything, but I think it's pretty much that. Yeah, of course, an endless smile, some back verbs. Yeah, I think those were all the elements. It's a 126 track song, so yeah, I could have missed some things, but I think I covered most of it. It's a pretty long project, so yeah, big chance I missed some sort of things, but I think I covered the big basics of it. And as I said before, I was going to show you the kick project. So yeah, let's get into that because I think a lot of people really want to know more about kicks, since kicks are the big thing about hardstyle. So this is a different project. I used OPS samples. Normally, I'd create kicks myself. So I'd create kicks completely from scratch, create all layers. But as I said before, and I think also a few of you agreed with me in chat, yeah, it's best to keep a kick sauce for myself. It's pretty, it's pretty private stuff. I do a lot of shit that I redo and use the same stuff. I see what's the total working hour on that project. I just put it out, but I think I don't know. We actually did it in a few months. It was a pretty big project, which took a lot of time. Prosper is a producer from Austria, so I'm from Holland. So yeah, we just also have to, our time schedules have to be the same for us to be working on it together. So yeah, it was a few months. We actually finished it. I think it was this February. I think that was the time around when we finished it, and we started around, I don't know, it was October or something. So it was a few months. I think, there were a lot of hours into this project. It was pretty big, as I said, 126 tracks. So yeah, I think that's around it. If I would have still had the project, I could have shown you how much hour was in it, but yeah, then we'd still, as I said before, we have the other project with all the MIDIs, all the layers in there. There's also a lot of hours into that, so I don't know. I couldn't really tell you. There's actually a lot. So yeah, multiple months are what's into this track. So yeah, as I said before, I'm not going to share with you my kick that I make myself, but yesterday I did open up the OPS sample pack and decided, because this is an OPS stream, let's create a kick using OPS samples. So I used 4 kicks. I'm just going to show you them cleanly. Just turning this off. So this was the first kick I've used. The second kick, the third kick, and the fourth kick. Oh, so those are the kicks I've used. This is a kick 2. I did create one extra layer myself because I felt it lacked a little bit of low end on the punch. And this is a render of the punch, which I'm going to show you how to get this from this. This is reverb, so that's also from the punch. So yeah, let's enable the effects again. Those are the kicks I've used. I've used 4 OPS kicks. Basically for the till, this is the whole till. I thought if I only use one layer, it sounds a bit static, so I wanted to switch it up a bit and use a different type of till as the first part. I like to create a little bit of movement in there. So as you can see now on the half beat, it switches from tills, which creates movement, creates a more interesting till in your kick. So without it, you get this do-do, and that's the kind of effect that you want in the till. Then this part is basically what I did is I low-cut it, added a little bit of highs, reduced a bit of the mids, and a bit of around 8K because that area gets sharp pretty quickly. Then I added a little bit of distortion to create a bit of more crunch to it. Lower volume and over the till. If you play it without, this is it. If you play it with, just creates more movement, creates extra crunchiness in your till, which sounds nice. The till itself, I actually used. If you play without the effects, this is how it sounds. I actually did a lot of EQing here. Lowering some low mids, lowering some mids, a little bit around 3K and a lot around 10K because I felt it has a lot of highs in there, which you're going to add back with the distortion. So yeah, just clean it up first, make it sound like this, and then you add distortion over it, and then all those frequencies are back, but in a more clean way. So yeah, this way you get a more clean till. Then the punch. So basically I felt this punch, if you play it on itself, of course it's gonna clip because it's I cut out the first part. But if you play the punch on itself, the thing is, I thought it lacked a bit of oomph to it, like a bit of low end to it. So I decided to create a kick 2, open it up, put it in G because the whole kick I've chosen are all in G. So I thought, let's get the whole 909 in G. Did some EQing, added a bit of distortion, added a bit of drive to it, and I rendered it to get this. Just adds more depth to the kick and more oomph effect. Now you get this. And then I also thought it lacked some click. So together it sounds like this. This click, I've used it from, I've made it actually from the punch itself. So what I did, I'm going to show you here. I rendered the punch. Basically what I did, I made it shorter. Put the out all the way up. added some pogo, and then boosted the shit out of it. This way you get more click. You put the clip on and it won't clip. It'll be loud, but it won't clip. And then, yeah, that's basically the whole attack to the kick. Just gives it more snappiness, makes your kick hit harder, and yeah, altogether it sounds like this. Without it, it just lags so much, and then yeah, it just snaps more. Together it sounds like this. But I thought it lagged a bit still, so as I said before, I like to use a shit ton of reverb in my kicks. So I rendered the reverb. Basically what I did is just a Valhalla room, some EQing, just take a reverb, make the decay time very long, like around 8 or 10 seconds, so you have a long reverb tail, as I can show you here. This is the whole tail I rendered, and just cut it up into this. You can use a send bus for this as well, but yeah, you can use it. I like to render it into the project. I've actually gotten this trick from Skara, so yeah, shout out to him for learning me this. It's actually been very useful, and I've used it in all my kicks since I know this. I always used like a sand bus or something, but yeah, this way it sounds so much more clean. You have way more control over the reverb and what you want to do with it. Together with the reverb, like without it sounds like this. With the reverb, it flows a lot more. So this was the end result of the kick I got. I'm actually gonna give it away to you guys because yeah, I'm not gonna use this. As I said before, I create my own kicks. I have my own kind of style in the kicks and what I do with them. So after this live stream is done, I'll make sure On Point Samples will put a drive link or something, or a Dropbox link to this kick in the description, so you can download it there. Yeah, get the kick for free, and yeah, just use it in your projects. Show me, send it to me on DM if you use it, because yeah, I think the kick itself is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm not gonna use it since I do my own kicks. So yeah, I guess that's basically it. I don't know if you guys want me, if there are any producers out there who are looking to get some live feedback, because we could also do that. And if not, then yeah, I think this is pretty much a wrap up of the stream. So I'm gonna check out the chat for a bit. If you have any questions about the project, about the kick, about anything, about me, just share them. Yeah, just ask away, and I'll try to answer them. If everything is clear, I guess I've done my job properly. But yeah, I'm just gonna look at the chat for a bit because there's a bit of a delay, I think. Someone already ripped the kick. Okay, nice, perfect. I hope none of you will rip my kicks from the previous project, because I did show some clean. I hope, please just learn how to create your own kicks, or at least use the On Point sample pack to get some kicks in. Don't use my kicks, please. But I think that's pretty much a wrap. Yeah. Don't know about you guys, but I don't see any questions. Think I was clear about the process. How long is the stream left? There's time, like whenever I end it. It's there's time left. I could do some feedback if you guys want. Would be interesting to hear about your tracks as well. But yeah, if there are non-producers in there, then I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. We have such a bad bit rate. Yeah, I guess the streaming quality would crunch the kick, like, and not in a good way. But yeah, you get this kick for free. So yeah, just look in the description of this live stream. Stream is ended, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys learned something.